Hi everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to week 6 for the Racquet Meeting. This is the first time me and Maya have been together. Well, the second time we've been together since the start of the semester.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
But some fun housekeeping updates. SUFAC had their we had the meeting with SUFAC, or Maya did, if you want to give a little update on that.
Yeah, so we went in and I think it went as well as I was hoping it could go. I presented pretty much all the information, first of all, that we were not told of this until the very last minute, and that there's nothing else that we can possibly do to pare down our like budget spendings, because we don't use many material things. And so I hope that convinces them to give us more money so that we can ethically pay you guys. Casey will get back to us soon. We don't have all of our financial information because we're new, and our business manager is also new. So the person who does have most of our financial information hasn't been super quick about responding to us. So we're kind of giving them information as they ask for it. But hopefully we'll hear back about a final decision soon.
Yes. Remember to keep filling out the Excel sheet. And if you guys are like me and you haven't been tracking your hours, an easy way to find out how you've worked every single day is you go to your UW portal as usual, and instead of clicking the web clock button when you get to that, click the timesheet button and then click your job under student help, and it'll list every single day you've worked, how many hours you've worked, what time you clocked in and what time you clocked out. And it's just really helpful. If you need more explaining, you can just ask me to send you like a screen recording of how I do it. But hopefully that's a good enough explanation. For the social justice reporter, we have started doing interviews today. So if you know anyone that you think would be a good candidate, send them the application, or you can refer them to me or Maya, and we can email them. But we have started the hiring process, so that's good. Mm-hmm. Also, there is a possibility now for in-person meetings. I did send out, it's okay. I did send out, or I got sent an email that basically said Student Senate updated their like laws or whatever in terms of in-person meeting, and now they're allowing 15 people. So if that's something you guys are interested, we can like leave that in the exit meeting quiz. I know everyone's schedules are really conflicted, so it might take a couple weeks if we decide to go back in person. However, it might be a little challenging, but we can definitely look into it, and you guys can put your input in the exit quiz. Mm-hmm. And then we also got an email about a bylaw update, and Maya is pulling it up here right now, but basically we were sent an email where they are wanting students' input who are in organizations about this new bylaw that they want to add to every organization's like set of rules, I guess. So this one is basically about, I don't want to read the whole thing, but the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, the Racquet Press, recognizes and values the diverse identities, backgrounds, and beliefs of our membership. Our definition of diversity includes, but is not limited to, ability, age, class, documentation status, gender identity, language, military status, nationality, religion, sexual orientation, and race. We are committed to providing and promoting an environment free of prejudice by addressing issues of equality and justice in our community, and we support the success of marginalized identities. So again, we will probably put this in the exit quiz, but they wanted input from everyone on staff to see if you have any suggestions on the bylaw request or anything. I am going to fill out the survey that they provided later, but they just wanted us to forward it to you guys to get your input on it. So if you want to put some feedback in the exit quiz, go right ahead. But Yeah.
Alrighty. The top trending stories for this week was firstly, the UWL students and faculty resigned from classes and quit on-campus job positions. That was Liv. That was a really good story. Congratulations. I know you put a lot of effort into that, so cheers. UWL pushes back the start for his spring 2020 semester and cancels spring break. That was, who did we just say that was?
That was me.
Oh, Julia, congratulations.
Thank you.
The photo series of the on-campus meal tents, that was really cool. It was kind of disgusting to see the inside of them because it was like Whitney but worse.
Yeah.
So that gave me like flashbacks
Still
to
beautiful pictures though.
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
job.
Yeah. Good images. But that was number 3. Congratulations, Sarah. Then we have a student association piece, so that was Morgan, as always, wonderful. And then 5 and 6 were Melissa, who is no longer with us, RIP, toodaloo. And then but again, good pieces. And then number 7 was Allison Screaming Eagles Marching Band, which was a great piece. We love that.
Okay, so I was doing some research on how to report on mental health, especially with right now. And I found this really cool guide on their website. I'll include it in like the email that I send out, but they have a bunch of resources that you can refer to, resources by age, professional organizations, publications, all this information that's like really helpful for journalists. But for a more condensed version, there is a PDF file that the Carter Center made themselves, Journalism Resource Guide on Behavioral Health. And basically it's just like going over things like words matter, behavioral health facts, and a lot of helpful information. But I wanted to go over, you guys can go check this out. I really recommend it. It's very informational. But I wanted to just go over this words matter section because not saying you guys would ever do this, and I think we're very well educated today, but if you ever say anything like in these columns, you probably will get like a serious meeting because these are not something that you should say, especially within articles. You can also check out our, what is it called? The Racquet Press. Why can I not remember? It's like the guide.
The AP style book?
Yes, the AP style good book made by the Racquet Press, where there's a whole section with terms to not used and ableist terms and stuff like that. So if you ever say anything in this column, don't say anything, especially this, like, oh my God. Instead say a person with, and then their mental health diagnosis. But again, I would refrain from referring their mental illness at all, unless if it's not relevant to the story, don't include it. I don't think you guys ever would, but it's still important to know, especially if you're considering journalism as a professional career.
Yeah. Also, this is just kind of a good segue into like kind of just general etiquette. Like when you're talking about somebody who has an identity or something that is kind of perceived as an identity, not even, always just say like a person with something or a person who is experiencing something rather than using the identity as an identifier, you know. So like you would say a person who is experiencing homelessness, not a homeless person, you know, because that separates them from the like diagnosis and is just more politically correct.
Yes. But again, just don't use any of these words here. Try to instead just like use these words or these phrases, but only if it's relevant to the story. We just don't say it if it's not relevant. As Maya said, it's just general etiquette.
Sorry. Alrighty, so as more and more of these scenarios come up with polarizing events, we want to go over some etiquette for interviewing survivors of traumatic events. The first thing to remember is always let them have as much control over the interview as possible. That's also just kind of like
A
a
general,
general
yeah.
rule of thumb for interviews, because the more that comes from their mouth, the more credible it is, but
Mhm.
especially in this situation. Yeah, let them tell their own story in their own words. Like, try not to interrupt them. I know sometimes when I'm interviewing, or when I was interviewing more often, I would kind of interject and just kind of give affirmations, be like, oh yeah, that kind of thing. Um, just because it's kind of like a social thing that makes it seem more
Mhm.
natural, but in this situation, it's great to just let it go.
Mhm.
Um,
Sorry.
oh,
Something that I sometimes do, back when I used to interview a lot, if someone was like struggling to find a word, sometimes I would be like, "Oh, do you mean this word?"
yeah,
And like try to fill in that sentence that they were like,
I
or
do
that
that too.
word. Don't try to do that. I learned from that. Just give them time, let them go at their own pace and just like,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
just
we're all social
listen.
human beings. Yeah,
Yes.
we know what's right. But yeah. And then also safety first, both for you and for them, but
Mhm.
primarily make sure that they feel safe, they're in a comfortable situation. Like, maybe not take a survivor of sexual abuse to a coffee shop to have an in-person interview. Like,
Mhm.
find somewhere maybe safe or quiet, just like read the room.
Yeah.
um but yeah, and make sure that you have enough time to interview them, so that like, if it ends up going on, or like something emotional happens, like, you're in a good place and you have time to deal with that, go through
Mhm.
that. And then explain why you are asking the tough questions. That is a really, really good strategy, because people don't like disclosing things about themselves unless it's necessary, and especially in these situations.
Mhm.
And that just makes you seem more trustworthy as a journalist. Because the word journalist has its own connotations. Like, people don't want to trust us.
Not
I've
always, at
experienced, yeah,
least.
not always, yeah. Even with people, I interviewed some people last year who were avid readers of the Racket, and like a couple of them told me straight up, like, we really appreciate the work that you do. It was when a lot of the Joe Elgin stuff was going on, but then even
Mhm.
after saying that, they were just a little reluctant. Like, I could tell they were just holding back, just because they didn't want their words to be used against them, and that's kind of fair. But so this can help.
Mhm.
Doing that can help.
Okay, so we also wanted to just throw in some like fun, not fun, but just tips. Sorry. Some tips for journalists because your mental health matters as well. Um, so the first one, we pulled all of these off this website. If you guys want to go look, they have some like very helpful resources. But the first one that we thought we would include is that you are not immune to emotional impact, especially if you're working on like a very emotional story. Sometimes, like, if I am working on something where, the interview was very emotional, I will feel their emotions and feel like, I don't know what to say. Like,
Yeah, like, just secondhand
yeah,
kind of impact. I
because
get
it
that.
does have impact on you as well.
Mhm.
So just try to realize that, sometimes you will face emotional impact, especially in journalism fields. Because journalists are kind of like the front line and the first responders almost in some situations because they have to like rush to the scene and get like the full story to address and to inform the community.
Mhm.
Um, and then another tip is to just know your signs for when you kind of are starting to like struggle with mental health. I know one of my signs is I like only work and I don't take time for myself, and then my room gets really messy. That's one of my signs. And I think just like taking some time out of your day, um, I like to, when that happens to me, I like force myself to clean my room because that kind of like, for me, cleaning is kind of like a stress reliever sometimes.
Mhm.
But
And
yeah.
clutter makes me anxious, girl. I get that.
Hmm.
Yeah, dude, that's a good tip. I don't actually think I know my signs. Fun fact. I guess we're gonna do some self-exploration this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, some other ones are just like, make sure you're taking care of yourself, and like, do take downtime, like Julia said. Like, if if you notice you're just overworking yourself, like, and this is also when we say communicate with us, like, this is what we mean. Like, if you know that you're overworked and you have way too much homework and trying to do, maybe you could get both the journalism work done and your homework done, but you wouldn't have any downtime for yourself that week and you'd be super stressed by the end of it. Like, we get that. Just talk to us. Like, just be like, hey, what can I do? And we will either try to help you take off some of your responsibilities, or maybe just like tell you, maybe give you an extended deadline, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because when you're doing journalism, like, even if you're not doing super intense stories, because we are college, I mean, well, no, I'm not even going to say that. Even if you're not doing super intense stories, like, you are just putting a lot of your time into somebody else's experience, you know, and that kind of just takes a little bit of a mental health toll. So
yes.
Yeah. Always.
We're always here to help. If you guys ever need anything, we're always here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so story assignments. Sophie, this week. Oh,
what?
Liv's not on here.
Oh
wait,
no!
Wait.
Wait.
I'm so sorry. Wait. Okay. Sorry. Your bundle.
Hey guys, I'm buzzworthy.
I'm really messing up on this slide. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Sorry.
Okay. Sophie, I'm your editor this week. We thought it would be really cool to do, Liv actually recommended the story idea for off-campus housing being in a higher demand. I know that you recently moved off campus as well, so we thought maybe it would be a cool idea to get students' experiences who have moved off campus, and maybe you even talk to some like realtor companies if you're comfortable with that, and ask them like if they've had an increase in like housing and like kind of what's going on their side.
Mm-hmm. I know Munson's not a great realtor.
Don't do Munson.
Yeah. But if you need some landlords, let us know.
Yeah, we can try to find some people.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan, your editor is going to be Alexia, and then do Student Senate as always.
And then Sarah, you have me, and you suggested this one, and I love this idea. Doing pretty places for fall colors around UWL and the La Crosse area. That is phenomenal. Can't wait to see that. Let me know what you need. And then Allison, you have Liv. You're gonna do Eagles Helping Eagles. This was an idea that we came up with a couple weeks ago, and we are repurposing it for you. There is a page on the UWL website to find out more about it, right?
Yes, and I will tell you that Melissa was working on this when she quit, and I know she did reach out to some people. Do you know who she reached out to?
I have no idea. Do you know if she has a draft?
I don't think she put it anywhere. Okay. I don't know if she has. She didn't share a draft with me. But maybe just say like, let us know before you reach out to someone, so then we can like confirm if that's the person that Melissa reached out to. But there's not supposed to be a question mark behind it. Sorry, I meant to take that out.
But just like making things more confusing than they have to be.
Sorry. But we just thought that would be a good idea because they actually do, they do a lot for the, UWL community. And I think people receive like school supplies from them when they aren't able to get it themselves. And I think they do food as well. I'm not 100% sure on the food, but I know they deliver school supplies. That's cool. So it's really nice.
That is nice. And if you do reach out to people, it's perfectly acceptable to be like, hey, I'm sorry if you were already contacted. There was a slight like issue.
Yeah.
Mishap. Mishap. Yeah. And then people will be like, okay. And then Julia Van Fleet, you also have me. You have your podcast. Can't wait to listen to that. Let me know what you need. Everyone have a good reporting week.
Yes. And here's everyone's contact info if you don't have it already. Make sure to text your editor when you want your article to be due. And also take that exit quiz.
Mm-hmm. And let us know how you feel about in-person meetings. Yes. There's a lot of pros. There's a couple cons. There's a lot of cons. So just let us know. Yeah. Give us your feedback.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good week.
Have a good week. Shoots and ladders.
Stop.